Hey everyone, I'm so glad you found my little crochet tutorial channel so that way I can show you how to make these cute little stockings. They're about 7 inches in length. They're perfect gifts for coworkers or for neighbors. Just fill them with chocolates, maybe some baked goods, maybe even a couple of office supplies, right? Some pens and post-it notes, etc. for your coworkers. Who doesn't love to get something that's handmade by you? And great news, this isn't going to break your time bank. They work up pretty quickly and they're super cute, right? I'm going to show you how to do them in 2 different styles here. And I just wanted to point out, this is one that I made with 1 size hook. Okay, so it's a little bit bigger than this one, which I used 2 sizes of hooks. So I used a smaller hook for the body and a larger hook for the outsides. Okay, I think this one here has a little bit more of a shape to it than this one. But you can decide as we go on if you want to use 2 size hooks. So I have a 5.25 millimeter hook and a 4.25 millimeter hook. Let's go ahead and get started. I have 2 colors of yarn that I'm going to be using today. And we start off with an adjustable loop or a magic circle. We use the larger hook to start, and we'll put 6 single crochets into our loop here. Now we're going to join this together after I pull on my tail to close the loop to the first single crochet. We use a slip stitch. Round number 2, we're going to chain up 1, go right back into that same place, and we're going to put 2 single crochets there. Now into each of our 6 single crochets that we had from the row before, we're putting 2 single crochets into it. This is called increasing. So by the time we're done with round number 2, you're going to have 12 single crochets. Then we just join to the top of our first single crochet with a slip stitch. Round number 3, we're going to chain up 1, go right back into that same place again. We're putting 2 single crochets there. And into the stitch next to it, we're going to put 1 single crochet. So we put 2, and then into the stitch next to it, we put 1. We do this all the way around, alternating between the 2 double crochets and the 1 double crochet. By the time that we're done with this round, we'll have a total of 18 stitches. We're going to now join to the top of our first single crochet with our slip stitch, chain up 1, and into each of our stitches we're going to start right where our slip stitch came out from, that same stitch. We'll put 2, and then we'll put into the stitch next to that 1, and into the stitch next to that 1. So if we're going around we're putting 2, 1, and 1. By the time we get done with this round, we'll have a total of 24 stitches. So again, it's 2, 1, 1, all the way around. All right, we're going to join to the top of our single crochet with a slip stitch, chain up 2 here, and then cut your work, pull that through, and then just pull down on those 2 chains. That's going to make a knot for us. All right, so that's our toe part done. Now, if you want to use the 2 sizes of hooks, we're going to go ahead and switch to the 4.25 millimeter here, as well as we're going to switch colors. So I'm going to use this red color here, and I have a slip knot. I'm going to put my hook into the slip knot first. And then I'm going to put my hook into my circle here, just where we left off. Grab the yarn and pull that loop. So now I have 2 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn and pull it through the 2, and that's going to be my first single crochet. So that's a neat way of joining the yarn, isn't it? Now you can either leave these tails hanging out or hold them to the side and crochet over the top of them. Because on this round, we are making 1 single crochet into each of our stitches all the way around. So when we're done, we'll have 24 single crochets. When we're done with this round, you're going to slip stitch it to the top of your first single crochet there, and we'll chain up 2. Next, we'll go to the stitch next to that, right there, and we'll make our double crochet. And now we're going to be working into the stitch to the right of our chain 2. We're going to make a crossover stitch. So we wrap our yarn, go into the stitch to the right of our chain 2. Kind of helps if you turn your work a little bit, grab the yarn and pull it through, and finish your double crochet that way. Okay? Moving on, we want to skip the stitch and work into the stitch next to that with our double crochet. Put 1 double crochet right next to it. And now we're going to make our crossover stitch into the spot where we had skipped right here. So we just move it over, coming from the back side, and finish our double crochet like that. Skip our stitch and move into the stitch next to it with our double crochets. Make our crossover stitch into the stitch that we had skipped. Skip 1. So we just continue like that all the way around. When you're done, you should have a total of 8 of these crossover stitches. All right, when you come back to the beginning side, your first one kind of might look like a little bit of a mess, and that's fine. Just use your finger, your thumb, to kind of poke that down to show the 2 double crochets that are hiding behind the crossover stitch. We want to find the top of our chain 2. We'll go into that with our slip stitch to join. We're going to chain 1, and we'll go right back into that same place and make a single crochet, and into the stitch next to that a single crochet, and into each one of our stitches all the way around we're putting single crochets. So by the time you're done, you guessed it, we'll have 24 stitches. Now we will be putting single crochets in between each of our rows here just to help define the rows a bit. And this pattern is going to be a repeating pattern. So like I said, it's very easy to make. These are using stitches that I've showed you how to do before as well, so it should be very easy. All right, I'm back here to the beginning already. Now, you don't want to go into this first stitch right here. This is your chain 1, right? So go into your first single crochet with the slip stitch. The next row is a row of double crochets, so we're going to chain up 2, and we're going to start in the stitch right next to it where we made our chains. That's going to act as our first double crochet. So we're going to go into this stitch next to that for our first one that we're making, and we just put a double crochet into each stitch. Following this row, remember I said we put a single crochet in between each row, so go ahead, finish this row out with your double crochets, finish your single crochet row, and then meet me back. All right, our work should be looking like this so far. Our next step is to repeat this row down here. So we're going to chain up 2, go into the stitch next to that for our double crochet, and make our crossover stitch into this stitch right here, coming from behind it. Then we skip a stitch, make a double crochet into the next 2 stitches, go back to our skip stitch with our double crochet, continue on like that all the way around, and following this row we have a row of single crochets. So go ahead and finish this row in your single crochet, and then I'll show you how to make the heel. To make the heel now, we just pull a loop from our red yarn and leave it. Fold it in half, and we'll start on the back side over here, find the middle, and then we'll just start over here 3 stitches over from the middle. We're going to use our larger hook. I'm just going to use that to mark my spot while I make my slip knot into my white yarn. And then we'll join it the same way by putting our hook into our slip knot first. And then put our hook back into that spot. I'm going to give this a little bit of a pull there so I can tighten that a bit. My slip knot. Then we just join with the single crochet. We're going to make 6, a total of 6, so we need 5 more. And again with the tail you can leave it out or line it up and try and crochet over the top of that. When we get down here to the end, get my tail that's just getting in the way. Right, once you have your 6 single crochets, chain up 1, and then turn your work, go right back into that same place and do your 6th crochet. We'll work crochets all the way down, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our 6th one there. Now for the 7th one, we're going to join down here to the base into our red color for our 7th one. Okay, chain 1 and turn, and we repeat. We're just going to be increasing our rows here the same way that we just did. By the time we get down here to the end, we're going to add our 8th stitch down to the bottom, down to the red part down here. So you keep working that way until you get to the 12th stitch. Okay, so keep working back and forth, adding 1 stitch on into the red down below, back and forth until you get to a total of 12. After you've made your 12th stitch, go ahead and chain up 2 and cut your work. Pull the tail through and then use your fingers to slide that down, make those chain 2s into a little knot there. All right, we're done with the white for now. We'll set that aside. If you're using the 2 sizes of hooks, go ahead and set your larger hook down. It's time to bring back the smaller hook. And we're going to continue on with our body color here. So we'll pick up the loop here that we left before from our red. And we're going to chain up 2 because now it's time for our row of double crochets. So we just put double crochet into each of our stitches all the way around. I'll show you how to work over the heel. For this one, you just sort of straighten up the heel and follow it up. So here's our stitch here that we want to go into. Right at the top of that white color. And then we just work on to the heel, making a double crochet into each. I'll show you the other side of the heel as well. And just go into that last stitch of our heel there. And then from here, we just jump down to our red color again, into the stitch next to that. Now this 24 count is just such a perfect number for these little stockings because with 24 that can be um, used excuse me, used with a variety of stitches, right? It's a multiple of 2 and a 3 and a 4 and 6. So here we are back here. Join it together with a slip stitch. Anyways, the point of that is that if you choose to go ahead and create your own design stocking, 24 is a really good number to have. That way you can use a variety of different stitches for it. So what we're going to do is just continue on with our pattern that we have. The next row is a single crochet row. So we go right down into that same spot with our first single crochet, and then into each stitch moving around we're going to put our single crochets in, and from here on out you just repeat the pattern, alternating between the double crochet and the crossover stitch, putting the single crochet row in between each of the rows. You'll do that until you get to the desired length. You set that aside, and I'll show you one that I have here completed. So we are working on this row here, so you're just going to continue it on up, and I ended it on a crossover stitch row. Okay, so once you get up here, why don't we stop, and then I'll show you how to make the band at the top. All right, so our next step is to join with our first chain 2 there. We're going to chain up 2. We'll cut off our red, pull our tail through, slide that down to make a knot. If you're using the 2 hook method, we're going to switch back to our larger hook. Look how cute this is turning out, right? Sort of squeeze it down flat because we're going to find the middle on the back side next. We're going to pick up our white yarn again, make our slip knot, and we'll join it with the same method that we have been using for this project, putting our hook into our slip knot first, and then we'll put our hook down into our project there. Try and find the middle and make a single crochet. Now into each one of our stitches we're going to make a half double crochet. So don't worry, this one nobody's going to notice that this is a single crochet. It's going to be fine. Into the rest of our stitches we're going to make a half double. So we'll wrap our yarn, poke it down in, grab the yarn and pull it through all 3 of those loops. For each of our stitches all the way around. Okay, when you get back over here to the end, I'll show you how to make the loop. All right, we're going to just join with a slip stitch to the top of our first single crochet that we made. And we're going to chain up 7. Go back down into that same single crochet spot. Join our little chain 7 with a slip stitch. We're going to chain 2, cut our work, pull our tail through, pull down that knot. We're going to weave in our ends and admire our work that we've done. Ta-da! Isn't this super cute? Now, I did promise you 2 ways of doing this. So, the other way I have is to eliminate this row of the double crochets and just make the whole project out of these crossover stitches. Okay, so this would just be a crossover stitch. You get something similar to this for that. Anyways, go ahead and pat yourselves on the back. Congratulations, you've done it. And I hope my tutorial was clear enough and easy to follow so that you did not have a difficult time making this project. So thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.